Hey everyone, Jen here, and while it is Tuesday, I am not doing a full tutorial today. Instead, I want to introduce you to the bag that's coming out this Friday. It is the Quilted Double Zip Bag. So I wanted to show you some features of the new bag and answer a lot of questions today, just like we did with the hipster, so you kind of know what's going on when it comes out on Friday. I also wanted to show you the fabric that is coming out Friday. It is Fat Quarter Friday, and this week we are featuring Cloud 9. It is Autumn Walk by Cloud 9, and I absolutely love this fabric. I've had it for a while now. I've just been waiting for the week to get here so I could show it to you. I'm also going to talk about batting and some other things to go along with the new bag. So I'm going to go ahead and first go over the fabric, then we will get into some of the details about the new zipper bag. All right, so let's talk about this fabric. I love it. Like, what drew me to this fabric was actually this print, which is the Granny Square print. And the reason is, if you've been following Parker, her little crochet journey, this is why I was totally gravitated towards this line. And then I really loved all the other pieces. So she really liked this print. I think it's a really fun print. Even if you don't crochet, it is just like a cozy print to go into fall projects, home projects, just really cozy. So this is one of the prints. It is a granny square. This line also features a cross stitch print, which is this one, and it is cross stitch mushrooms and trees. Very fall, but again, very cozy if you're into making like crafty themes without being like obnoxiously crafty for friends. So there's another print. Then we have some more fall prints that are, again, are that warm, cozy vibe. So we have snails, which typically a snail, but this is really pretty. It's like a blue with the pinkish color, very cute. This is a beautiful floral print. It even has some butterflies, so this could mix in with other seasons, but a very nice classic fall colors. Then we have some more mushrooms with fall leaves, but again, in not typical fall colors. This print features more mushrooms, trees, deer. There is a fox, which I love. And I love the color. It's pink without being like obnoxiously pink. And then we have a beautiful blue leaf print, and then the green leaf print, which this might be my favorite of the fall prints. And it goes well. Well, it goes well with all of them. That's why it's a line. But the pink and the green go well together. And then I do like this with the granny squares. So I think one of my samples of the bags, you'll probably see these two prints together. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think 7 prints all together, which is a little bit more than we normally do. I do try to keep it to 6 prints just to keep these bundles, in an affordable range. I will say, we just introduced you to Cloud 9 with the school print, which did very well. It is an organic cotton fabric, so it is a little bit more expensive than the typical fabric per yard, but I will tell you, this washes up so nice. It gets so soft. It is literally one of my most favorite companies, and you're going to see more of this. And my sample bag is actually made out of their sister company, Felicity Fabrics. So when I go over that, we'll talk about their fabric. So this is going to come out Friday. We have a very limited amount of this this line, so we don't have as many as we typically do, so it will go fast. The last Fat Quarter Friday sold out in like 2 hours, so just be prepared for that. So I'm going to clean this up and let's talk about the bag. Okay, so I misspoke. This is actually Cloud 9 fabric, but their sister company, Felicity Fabrics, is Similar Base Fabrics. They have amazing prints. You're going to see more of their fabric when next year when we do more Fat Quarter Fridays, because the prints are super fun and super fresh, and I really, really love them. Plus, they're wonderful to deal with, so that's a bonus. This is my very first run of this bag. So this is actually a sample that it will not look exactly the same. There will be minor differences in the finished product, but this was like my first go, and this is the fabric that I picked, and it is called Wild Haven by Cloud9. And you can see I used the birds and the purple leaf, and then there's this really pretty orange butterfly print. So I'll probably do another sample in these three, and then I used a chambray on the inside of the bag. So okay, so let's get into the nitty gritty of this bag. Okay, so let's get into some of the details of this bag. So this bag, again, was my first run at this bag. So some of the details will change slightly between this bag and the one that's going to come out on Friday. And then also by scale, so the smaller bags will have more smaller quilting scale, and the larger, like 10 by 16, the scale of the quilting is going to be a lot bigger. The pockets will vary, but it's all in proportion to the original bag. So this bag is 3 hoopings. You can skip quiltings, and get it down to 2 hoopings if you wanted. The quilting up here does not go the full length of the bag, so you can't really make just the plain bag. I mean, you can make just the plain bag with no quilting, but if you have any of our other bags, I don't know why that you would need to do that. So the first or second hooping, however you want to do it, is going to be the quilted back. It's a little hard to see on video, but it's a diamond quilt pattern. And then the second hooping is going to be the pocket. This bag is only going to come in size 3 for right now until we get this completely launched and ready to go. It's very difficult to do both sizes the same week. So once we get 3 launched, then we will launch 5, hopefully within like a couple weeks of this one. It depends on Christmas too. So the way, if you have the original double zip, the way we construct that is we used the zipper tape to create the fold over for your pocket. So it was a lot quicker to make. And at the time that seems like, a good idea, and it is, it's still a great bag. But one of the things that bothered me about that bag is the zipper kind of sat a little weird because we used it. And if you used a 5, it was less noticeable. And then it kind of pulled in right here where the pocket is. So what I did was I added this fabric strip at the top of the second hooping, and this allows the pocket to lay flat. The zipper lays nice and flat. You do not have the steps that in the original, if you have that file, we have a step to kind of tack the zipper on either side so it doesn't come like undone, and that's just an unnecessary step. We don't need that with this bag because the zipper lays flat. So it is a lot easier to place the zipper correctly. And then if you want, you can, change the fabric that you use up here. So you could use 3 different fabrics. I chose to use the bottom fabric on top, but I think the next one I would like this fabric here, so it makes this look a little bit wider. So it's going to be on the look that you want to go with. I also considered using the orange here for a third fabric look. This piece here is not quilted, and you do not need to add any interfacing or anything to this piece of fabric because you're going to leave the poly mesh in, and that is enough of a stabilizer to give this tiny piece of fabric enough weight. So with this piece of fabric here in the cut chart, this piece of fabric is going to be 1.5 inches tall, and you need to make sure that you stick to the sizes in the cut chart for this one particular piece of fabric. All the other pieces you can cut as you go if that's how you sew. That's how I sew. I don't use the cut charts. I just kind of run my placement and then use fabric. This one piece of fabric though has to be exactly the size that I'm going to give you in the PDF, and that is to keep this piece exactly incorrect proportion. If you don't, if you make it bigger, this whole piece is going to shift down and you're going to lose quilting. So if that's the look you want, obviously once you get in this, you can adjust that if you don't want the top stitching, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of you know how to do that. So if you've made some of our other bags, the ID Keeper, the one with the pocket on the front, which I can't think of, maybe it's called the clear pocket keeper or something. The front, the top stitch encloses or encases the fabric raw edge. So this is also one of the reasons why this piece of fabric needs to be exactly the right size. So when you attach this pocket, you are going to trim and then fold over your pocket, and this top stitch here, right here, is going to encase all of your raw edge of the pocket. So your liner is actually the front of the bag. So you can see the quilting does not go down inside the bag here. The batting as well does not go down inside the bag here. So the batting for the quilting on top is only on the top section of the bag. And then you have batting on the front and you have batting on the back. Now, if you want it to be more full or more fluffy, I guess, you could easily run your batting the whole length, the front and the pocket and the back. That is up to you and what your machine can handle. And I'm actually going to go over a couple batting options after we finish talking about this. So this is the interior. There's the liner. I'll actually flip it. So there's the liner. The liner's here. The whole front of the bag is your pocket liner print. So you're going to have your print from the front and then whatever you put on the liner of the second hooping, which is the pocket. So this whole piece, the bird fabric, is your second hooping. And obviously you need to do that. And then the last hooping will be the bag base, which will include this quilted portion, obviously the whole front, and then the liner, and you're going to place your quilted back. So when we do quilted backs, we do lose space on the finished size of the bag because we need about a 1/2 inch all the way around to be able to place your quilted back and make it as easy as possible to line up on the back side. So when I list this, there's going to be the file size for the quilted back. You'll have the pocket file size, and then you'll have the bag base file size. And the finished size is going to be whatever the bag base file size is. It will be less, obviously, than that file size, but that's a good estimate of how big your bag's going to be. So this is an 8x12 hoop bag. So let's see, it finishes at just under 7 inches tall. So like 7 3/4. Like this way, and then lengthwise it is 10 3/4. So the hoop it fits in is 8x12, but the bag obviously is like 7 3/4 by 10 3/4 finished size. If you again don't want to do the quilting, you can skip that. You can even skip the quilting up here. You could just make this a double zip with no quilting. It's totally up to you. The bag does not use any interfacing whatsoever. You just use poly mesh in all 3 hoopings, and that is enough, again, to stabilize this fabric without interfacing, and then the batting gives it enough. So 2 number 3 zippers. The zipper can go on either side of the bag. That is up to you. On the original non-quilted bag, you had to put the zipper to the left, I believe, because of the tack down and how that whole bag was constructed. So this is a good looking bag. I used cotton batting, which we're going to go over batting next, but the next bag I make, I'm going to make a little bit more thick because I like a nice, loft bag. So this is coming Friday along with the fabric. There will be a free file for the fabric purchase. And then honestly, I haven't decided what I'm going to put with this yet as the buy this, get that. So we'll see what I come up with. And so we're going to go over batting. Okay, so batting. So in this bag, I used my standard cotton, 100% cotton batting. I use the cotton batting by Fairfield, which is Fairfield makes polyfill, among other things. These are two of their other battings. They make a bunch of different battings, and I have a giant roll of their cotton batting, and that's what I used. And I only used one layer. And this is fine. This is a great bag. It's very nice. Personally, I would, if I was going to stick with the cotton, I would do 2 layers, but my machine can handle that amount of layers. So this is really going to depend on what your machine can handle, what you're comfortable with. Can you adjust your foot height on your machine? That's going to be a biggie. This piece right here does not have any batting. So this little tiny strip, there is no batting. All of the batting is on the pocket back and this strip up here. So 2 layers of cotton I would probably do if I used cotton for my next one. And I'm going to use cotton for the tutorial, but when I make one for myself, I think I'm going to choose one of these 2 options. So you've seen me post that I love the Quilter's 80/20 blend, which is a poly cotton blend. It has a higher loft. And if you look at the packaging when you go in the store, it'll tell you the loft. So this is actually considered low loft, but it tells you it's 3/6 up to loft up to 3/16, which I believe cotton batting is might even be a little bit less lower. And then this is polyfill extra loft, and this is 100% polyester. So it might feel different in your bag. You might not like that. So this is something to try. And I got a small, this was not expensive, but the loft on this is up to 1/2 inch. So this is medium loft. They have high loft too. That's probably not ideal for this. Maybe if I was sewing like a big tote bag or something. The only downside again is how it feels. This is polyester versus a poly blend versus 100% cotton. But all of it is made USA, which I love. That's why I really love Fairfield. I work with them in polyfill all the time. So I think in my version, I am going to probably try the 80/20 on a smaller bag, and on my larger version, which I want to make the biggest one, I'm going to use the extra loft and see how that comes out. And I'll probably take some pictures just so you guys can see the difference. But again, both of my, well, all 3 of my machines, I can adjust the foot height. So I have a multi-needle, my Lumi, and then I have a 6x10 Brother. It's not a problem to adjust the foot height. If you have a machine that you can adjust the foot height, always just recommendation that you don't adjust it until you need to adjust it, and you need to adjust it to the correct height. So don't overdo it with the height, because if you have your foot height too high, it will tend to shred the thread because the thread gets kind of looped up and caught. So you need to make sure that the foot height kind of just glides over the top of your fabric. So whatever height that means. Typically, I only go up like maybe 2. So whatever my base is, which I can't think of the number, but whatever my baseline is average, then I go up maybe 2 steps. And that's fine enough for most projects that I do. And then when you're done, make sure you put it back down, because that also, people will be like, why is my thread shredding all of a sudden? I didn't do anything different. Well, make sure always check your foot height that you put it back. And on certain parts of the bag, you're not going to need to adjust your foot height very much, like here. So it's mostly going to be the quilting, and then when you place everything together at the end. So when you have multiple layers. Like I said before, the batting does not go all the way down the bag. It is just here. So this bag base is not going to have 3 layers of batting. So 1 layer for the pocket, 1 layer for the back. So that's something to consider if you're going to add extra layers. At least you're not going to go through, like, say, 6 layers of batting. You would go through 4 layers of batting, and similarly for the top. So that's it. Again, 80/20 Fairfield. All of these, I'll link them below, or they're in my Amazon store linked. Quilt batting, extra loft, 100% polyester, 80/20 blend, or they're 100% cotton. Quilter's Dream also makes a nice 100% cotton, which is also something you could use. And hopefully you like it. On Friday, we'll have the full video tutorial going to launch for this bag early. And then we're probably going to skip the following Tuesday's video since we are launching one on Friday, which is not typical. So Julie will be off and not on that week. And I hope you enjoy.